Coming up with a good business name is going to be one of the biggest challenges you face when you're starting your new lawn care business. It's really easy to get emotionally attached to the process and to the name itself, and to really get caught up in that. And it's also really difficult to come up with an original name. So if you're struggling with that, I'm going to give you a few ideas and also put it into perspective, the importance of the name. So the first thing I'm going to say is that the business name is not as important as you think it is, but the quality of work and the customer experience you provide and your branding and marketing are far more important. Now, I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Leave your comments below. I'd love to see if you guys agree with me. And if you're just starting up a new lawn care business and you'd like to see more content about how to create the business that you want, subscribe. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what type of business do you want? And I'm going to break this down into 3 parts. So firstly, the solo operator. So you just want to be on your own, be your own boss, and go out and mow lawns for yourself. The second one is a small business. So that's yourself. Maybe you have one other person helping you, or maybe you even have a couple of crews, 5, even up to 10 crews. And then the final one is a large business where you're thinking about franchising, spreading your area, expanding, and maybe going nationwide or franchising. So firstly, if you're a solo operator and that's all you want to do, then that's great. Now, what you need to consider is that you are the business. It's just you. So everything you do is the business. You're responsible for everything. And when you're coming up with a name, if you want, you can use your own name. So you could be like Doug's Mowing, or if you watch YouTube, you might watch Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and that's great. You can use your own name. And the great thing about it is, if you want to have a website, which I suggest you do, then you're going to be a lot more likely for that website domain name to be available. And one thing I would suggest is to use the word lawn or mowing in the name that you use. And this just sort of helps with Google ranking, and also to just make it clear what your business is and what you're about. So for you, it's really quality of work and the customer experience are the primary concerns. So if you're going for a small business, and that's just you now, of course, but you want to grow into a few crews, my suggestion is you don't use your name. I think you want to go with something a little bit bigger and something, in a way, a little less personal, a little more grand. So the challenge for you is coming up with an original name, and a name that's available, so you have the domain name and also the business name registration in your country. That's a really huge challenge. So my suggestion, and this is how we did it, was just brainstorm. Get a pen and a paper and brainstorm, and try to come up with about, say, 20 names, potential names, and don't judge. Just come up with anything you want, and just don't judge anything that you're doing at that stage. Just get a pen and paper, a big piece of paper, write down anything that comes to your mind. And I think it's still good if you use the word if you're doing gardening, lawn or mowing. And that's just because it gives clarity to what your business is about and helps through the Google search. So the important thing is, initially, just don't judge. Just let it go, let your brain do its thing, and come up with a big list. So the next thing is to go through the list and just have a look. Is there anything that's kind of clever, a little bit out of the ordinary, and of course anything that you like as well? And then with that, come up with a list of your favorite, say 1 to 3 names, starting with your favorite first, and go down 1st, 2nd, 3rd, maybe even 4th and 5th. And then the next 3 steps are this. Because like I say, the availability of the name is a big concern when you're coming up with a business name. So the first thing you want to do is, with your first business name, your favorite one, is to check if the .com website domain is available. So go to GoDaddy or something like that and just type in that domain name and see if it's available. If it is, that's amazing. But more than likely it's not, in which case just go down to what's your 2nd favorite, try it again, 3rd favorite, 4th favorite, until you find one that's available. So the other thing you need to consider is the business registry for your local area. So in Australia we have the ABR, and that's the Australian Business Registry. And you need to register your business name with them, and it needs to be available if you're going to trade as that name. So you need to check out what is it in your country, what is it in your area that you need to do, and check out is that name available, and that's that. And then the other thing is for a Google listing. But this is not so important. The main thing is, let's go with your website first, because you want to be able to have a website for your business. So go on to GoDaddy or whatever you choose, check the availability. First, your favorite, second favorite, third favorite, etc. Now the first one that's available, my suggestion is go with that name. And like I said at the start of this video, it's really easy to get emotionally caught up in the business name process. But really, you need to keep in mind that it's the quality of work, the customer experience, and then the branding and marketing that you do with your business that's going to be the important thing. So you need to decide how you're going to operate your business, either as a sole trader or as a company. And in Australia, there are different implications for that. You have an ABN number for if you're going to operate as a sole trader, and then you have an ACN if you're going to operate as a company. So in your country, what are those requirements and what do you need to do in order to run your business in that way? Now, for us, we get professional advice. Our accountant handles all of that. They handle our name registry, they do all of our tax and that sort of thing. And this works out really, really great for us. And you may wish to get professional advice for yourself instead of trying to set it up yourself, and to set it up correctly in the first place. And it's very easy to do, and you can easily find someone who will help you out with that. And with that, you can focus on branding and colors that are going to help you stand out in the marketplace. And like I say, this is more important than your business name. So finally, there's the large business. And with this one, you can be a little more broad with your name. Something that maybe makes you think of larger landscapes and kind of has connotations of care, whatever else it may be. But in this case, it really is your branding is the most important thing. And I watched a video recently that Mike Andes did, and he's at Augusta Lawn Care, and I'll leave a link to this video below, but it's he points it out really, really well about the importance of branding over your business name. And what he was talking about in that video, he was actually talking about painting his trucks. And he said that people don't remember his business name. They don't remember Augusta Lawn Care, but what they remember is the yellow trucks and the dog mascot that he has for his business. Because that's the obvious thing. And people say, oh, I see your trucks everywhere, and I see the dog and the yellow trucks. And that's the thing they remember. And he was really emphasizing that it's not Augusta, the name of his business, that they remember, it's the branding. So I suggest you check out that video and any of his videos. He's fantastic. I'm just going to use an example. It's a little bit out of the ordinary, but in Australia here, Jim's Mowing began in the 1980s. And the key thing with Jim's Mowing is, like I said at the start of this video, for a solo operator you may wish to use your name, but Jim's Mowing is actually a huge franchise across 4 countries. And I just wanted to talk about this, why this is a little bit different to normal, and why this works for such a large business, and the idea behind the branding of Jim's Mowing. So in Australia in the 1980s, there weren't franchises. Jim's was, I believe, the first one, and Australia kind of still has a bit of a country feel. You know, it's a little bit backward, just a little bit. And the idea of Jim and Jim's Mowing with the branding that Jim had for his business is, it's sort of like a stenciled image of him, and he's a real like blokey looking guy, and it's just dark green with a yellow stencil of Jim's Mowing and his face. And this really appeals to the Australian culture, just that kind of bloke next door. That's what a lot of people like in their lawn care service. And so that's why that's a little bit of an exception to having a more broad name, and why it works in Australia. In America, I believe it would be different, and I think you can go with something more subtle, more broad, something that has maybe a kinder, more caring kind of feel about it. So yeah, that's an example of that. But just to summarize, the business name, it really isn't as important as you think it is. The important things are the quality of the work that you do, and the customer service that you provide, the customer experience, and then your branding and your marketing. And it's important that you keep that into perspective when you're coming up with your business name. It's really not as important as you think. So just come up with your name and get ready to get on with your business. And then you can focus on your branding and your marketing and how you're going to stand out from your competition moving forwards and have success in your business. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and thanks for watching.